Yeah, I wanted to take a minute and talk about this object that's headed right toward us. That's some people don't even know that it's out there. There's been some news coverage about it, but I do think that the more coverage we can see amongst our small groups, the better, because people need to know that this is a very strange object. So just to kind of catch up, this is about the 3-eye atlas. 3 stands for the third, I stands for interstellar, and it was caught by the Atlas satellite program, okay? So this is the third interstellar object that we found. First one was in like 2017, and the second one was in 2019. The first one, the Harvard professor Avi Loeb thought might have been like some sort of like alien scout or whatever. I mean, maybe. But what I do find interesting is that, we're having this occurrence of interstellar objects moving through our solar system at a pretty rapid pace, 3 in less than 10 years. And what makes this one so different is that, as Avi Loeb and others have pointed out, there's no real comet tail. If it was a true comet, it would have a tail. And that the light that it's putting off is not the light from the sun, but it seems to be some sort of engineered light, I guess is the right way to put it. So it has some sort of light on it, right? So there's something causing it to have a forward light, and it doesn't really have a tail. It has this huge, like, some people have described it as a carbon dioxide cloud that's around it. But the fact remains that this, as this article says, reveals, telescope image reveals there's something strange with the interstellar object, Comet 3-eye Atlas, right? And they talk about how, as it hurls its ways toward our sun, that the telescope's initial observations suggested 3-eye Atlas has one of the highest carbon dioxide to water ratios ever recorded in a comet. They're still calling it a comet, but the reality of it is that this does not have the makeup of comets that we've seen before. Now, do I think this is an alien spacecraft? I do not. I do believe that, however, it is definitely something that we've never observed in science before. And the reason why that's important to us is because, I'll put a link to this. It's pretty cool. I'm following it right now in the sky. As of today, this is kind of where it's at within the constellations. But with regard to when it really gets close to us, we'll be looking at an October the 3rd date. And as this object moves into our solar system, our inner solar system, it is going to be making very close flybys by Mars, and then another close flyby into March of next year by Jupiter. But when it is in our inner solar system, which is, with our interstellar planets, Venus, Earth, Mars, and Mercury, and obviously the Sun, it just flew, and it is flying through right now through the asteroid belt. So the asteroid belt is in here. So we have no idea, and we won't know for a little while, if it has knocked, because the strange thing about it is it's basically coming in on our ecliptic to where the planets all spin around the sun. So that asteroid belt is also in this ecliptic. So we're not going to know if it actually caused debris from the asteroid belt to be scattered, like this thing is coming so fast. Did it hit asteroids in here that are going to throw them at different planets within our solar system, right? And potentially us at Earth. But the more like dangerous aspect of this object, which now has a coma of half of the size of the sun, is that when it moves into our inner solar system, we've never had an object that comes in basically on the ecliptic and which the ecliptic means, like, you see how, Mercury has this tilt and Venus that one, and Earth is like pretty flat, and so is Mars. But they all spin around the sun, right? Well, it is coming retrograde, meaning the planets spin this way and it's coming on the back side of them, right? But it's coming through our ecliptic, and as it comes through, it's going to start making these conjunctions with the planets. You'll see conjunctions talked about a lot in space weather and space science. But on this day, the 26th of November, is when it actually is basically within the actual ecliptic average plane of the inner planets of Mars, Venus, Mercury, and Earth. And at that same day, it causes a triangular conjunction with Earth, Mars, and 3i Atlas itself, which is an object, along with just a couple of days later. Let me move this little. I can move this a little bit more. So right here, actually, it was close to the 16th. So the 16th through the 26th, we're going to see this conjunction where we have Venus, the Sun, and Mercury in a line, and then this Atlas, Mars, and Earth making a triangular conjunction, along with a conjunction here, and then another conjunction here. So there's a lot of geometry within this that is going to potentially cause the Sun to behave in a way that we've never seen it behave. Again, it may not, but then again it might. And I think that it's important that people know that this is happening, because this object, again, never have we had an object come in through our ecliptic. Never have we had an object fly so close to more than one planet at a time. And never have we had an object who is behaving in a way that they call it a comet, but it's not behaving in cometary fashion. So in other words, it doesn't have a tail, it doesn't reflect the sun's light, we're not seeing any off-gassing. And as it gets super close to this planet like Mars back here, when was this, like right here, October the 3rd, it's going to be super close to Mars. Like that in planetary science is close, super close. So just a heads up to people. I don't want to be like super fear mongering or anything about it. I just think people should know that this is out there, and that do some research on it. Again, there's a lot of good articles out there. Really neat photography of it. I can't wait for it to get closer, for them to be able to get even more high resolution pictures of it. But this is not your standard. This is not your standard comet, and this is not your standard light, quote unquote, light source that you would expect to see within a comet. So I encourage everybody to get out there and learn about this. If you haven't heard about it, maybe even call your local news stations to get them to talk about it. But as a community, and especially searchers, that are, in this posy hunt, a lot of us are, kind of keyed in on some of the constellation stuff. So really neat. You should definitely know about this if you don't. And that's about it.